So I am all about taking 2 hours to make a 10-minute task take 5 minutes. And I do it all the time with processes and finding ways I can optimize things. Even if the total time spent actually is the same, to me it's fun to try and optimize stuff like that. And so one of the things that I just was working on this week that I thought was a fun little project. Um, we have some Google Forms that um, that we're using to generate these web stories about our graduating seniors. So in the Google Forms, we've got two basic Google Forms. One that goes to the seniors, asking them questions about themselves and their experience. The second going to their teammates, asking about the selected senior. And then we've got a variation of each of those. One that goes to spring sports who have lost their season, and one that goes to everyone else who had completed their season. A couple questions are just slightly worded differently. But anyways, all that I have that set in Google Forms to all come into one single spreadsheet. And so you can see at the bottom here, I've got these four Google Forms all coming into this single spreadsheet. And there's four of them. There's two different formats. The difference between the fall and the winter and the spring ones is just the wording in the question is just slightly different. And so what I did is I created this summary page, which has a list of all of our seniors. And then I used some formulas to count how many responses there were for each senior. So for this senior, there were 2 responses from teammates and 1 response from themselves. So basically the senior column is either a 0 or 1, and the teammate can be 0 to however many. And to do a reasonable job with this, I want at least two teammate responses. So we can see that I have everything is color coded, and it's red if I don't have enough information to proceed. It's orange if I have barely enough, which basically means the senior has done something and only one teammate has done something. So I could technically put something out, but it's probably not going to be the best. I would rather have more teammate responses. And so once that number goes from 1 to 2, these turn green. And so this is all automatic. This is all populated via script, or not scripts, but all populated via some somewhat simple functions and using conditional formatting for the coloring. And so we use that to generate these. And I noticed as I was trying to put these together that as I was doing the first 1 or 2, it was a pain. I needed to copy the question, paste the question, copy the response, paste the response, so on and so forth, all the way down. And then some of these, when you get into the teammate response, the question that is posed is, for example, what is the most memorable moment of the selected senior? And I wanted to make sure that selected senior is replaced by their actual name. And so another area for things to get messed up and missed. And so this was just taking a lot of time, and it was cumbersome, and it was just kind of annoying. So what I ended up doing is writing a Python script that reads the data from the spreadsheet. All the data comes from these spreadsheets, and it's basically calculated, doing all this stuff, and then it is generating an HTML file that looks like this. And then I can just copy and paste this directly into our CMS, and you can see all the way down what was your most memorable moment of Drew. It automatically populates that. And so that made generating this content way easier, less mistakes. Basically you just copy and paste, and just kind of proof to make sure there's no grammar errors or things like that. You can fix those pretty easily. So that saved a lot of time. But the next step was, one of the things I found myself doing then is constantly monitoring this page to see, is there any more green? Is there any new ones that I can do? Where are we at? There's a lot of red here, and as they turn green, I wanted to be able to generate that content. And so what I did was create a chatbot. And so we've been using Google Chat to communicate while we're all sequestered. And so what I did is create a little chatbot that in this code, I set this code to run every 10 minutes. And basically, if it creates a new file, which means if the data in this has gone from red to green or orange to green, there's enough information for a new file, it will then generate that new file, and then it will send a message that that file was generated. So let's take a look at that as an example. So let's come in here, and I'm going to delete Brian, and I'm going to delete Drew. So theoretically, those files had not been generated yet. And then I'm going to manually run the script. It's set to run every 10 minutes on my computer, but I'm going to run it manually. So it's going to do its thing. All right, and so then it's done its thing, and you can see new message. Since I had this, I didn't get a notification because I had this page open. So let's change. Well, and you can see new senior feature: Brian Peck and Drew Farmer. Oh, well, you guys hear my phone ding. So it did notify on the phone. So let's set this page so it's not on chat. And I'm going to come in here and let's delete those. Let's delete Brian and Drew again. Actually, let's delete Mason. All right, so we'll delete Brian and Mason. So those files are not there. And then run the script manually. And so dataset 1, dataset 2. All right, the script is done. And so I'll come back into here, and you can see that that is blue, and then there's the ding, that there's a notification. And I can see, and there it is, Brian Peck and Mason Cook. So now I can just I can close this page and just kind of go on with my work, and as new things come in, I will get notifications in Google Chat. So pretty fun little project, working with the Google API to get the data from the Google Sheets page, and then creating a basic chat bot to notify. So like I said, fun project. I don't know that I'm going to save a ton of time overall, but I get to satisfy my itch for tinkering, and it will come in handy. So hope you enjoyed.